Welcome to Elk Hollow Homestead.
This is Friday Table Talk, where we bring awareness to items in your food that you may not be aware is toxic. Today's subject is aluminum.
Do you know what aluminum is in your food or in your pantry?
Are you aware that aluminum is also in your personal hygiene products?
Well, me, myself, I do.
Mm-hmm.
We try to stay away from deodorant. We notice that our deodorant has aluminum in it. We even actually checked our children's deodorant, and it has aluminum in it. So we always try to make sure that it is aluminum free.
Other places that we are exposed to aluminum is through over-the-counter medications, through different types of supplements, and also in the water that we drink, tap water.
That's scary.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that one either.
Yes. Found that in research that filtered water, such as our Berkeys, helps eliminate the aluminum. And
So your tap water from just your sink.
city water, yes.
But I knew it had chlorines and
Mhm.
like iron and stuff in it.
I wasn't thinking about aluminum though.
Exactly. Even chapsticks and sunscreens and lotions have aluminum in them.
So it's and not just your
Mhm.
food.
Yes, antacids loaded with aluminum. It's in the materials around us, it can be in the air that we breathe. Your cookware, silicone cookware,
Yeah.
non-stick cookware is a high exposure to aluminum.
Well, I know it'll say if you have non-stick cookware and it's okay as long as it doesn't get scratched. But how many pieces of your cookware is scratched?
And you know, when you research cookware, non-stick cookware, even if it's not scratched, when it reaches a degree of over 450 degrees, it emits aluminum into your air that you're breathing.
So you're breathing in aluminum.
You're breathing in aluminum. It can become very toxic.
So
Yes.
not only just say if my kids want to make a grilled cheese and they accidentally scratch my pan with a metal spatula, I'm not only ingesting it, but if it reaches a certain temperature, I'm
You're breathing
inhaling it too.
Yes, yes. The sunscreens that we are, just really stressed that we need to use sunscreens to protect yourself from UV rays. Almost every sunscreen also has aluminum in it. And the really scary one is the baking products.
Yeah. Yeah, we've just recently realized that our baking powder,
Mm-hmm.
Now, it won't just say aluminum in the ingredients.
Correct.
Because there's all kinds of different names.
Yes, it's
Well,
hidden. It's hidden with
Well,
them.
it's hidden, but what is scary is it's hidden on your label. But if
Yes.
you even just go to Google and look up the name of that, whatever the agent is that it says, and it says in parentheses, anti-caking agent, it will tell you what it is, that it is aluminum. So they're not really hiding it.
No, they're not hiding it. They're putting it in there under a name that you can't pronounce usually. It's a name that you can't pronounce and you don't know what it is. And people have become so accustomed to seeing a long list of ingredients and not knowing what those ingredients are, they just pass it off. But when you research them, it's scary. And another scary thing, today when I was in the grocery store, we buy, organic things when we buy. And I just decided to take a look at some organic macaroni and cheese. One of the organic macaroni and cheese had a non-caking agent in it. Another didn't. So it's not necessarily deemed, it might say it's healthy, it's organic, but it may not be.
We'll put some of these agents up on the screen for you guys to see. That way you can know what you're looking for on the labels when you guys are shopping for that stuff.
Yeah, because like we said, aluminum is disguised as many names. It doesn't just always say aluminum on your products, or it doesn't always say anti-caking agent on your products. It goes by many names, several that I would have even never thought would be aluminum at all.
And a lot of them I can't even pronounce.
I also read an article I was reading right then. in 2022, the European Union banned an anti-caking substance in food because of all the health and risk factors that it caused. One of the largest candy makers was sued because they wouldn't take out titanium dioxide from its products because it was a big popular kids candy.
Yeah.
It didn't only include the aluminum, but it's full of dyes, which is another topic for a different day.
Exactly. Something that I found in recent research in 2019, that there had been distinct links between aluminum toxicity and pneumonia, lung diseases, heart disease and stroke, inflammatory bowel disease, and Crohn's disease, which is becoming more prominent, anemia, and this one's a scary one, dementia and Alzheimer's disease, autism, strong link there, infertility, liver disease, breast disease, pancreatic cancers, and diabetes also. And then knowing that it goes to your bones and your organs, where does all this aluminum settle? It settles in your bones, in your organs, in your bloodstream, and in your lymph nodes. And then something I found interesting is how do we deplete it out of our body? How do we excrete it? Through sweating, through urine, and through our bowels. So it's affecting your sweat glands. It's affecting every part of your body. It's affecting your kidneys, and kidney disease has been tied to it. Also, hormone imbalances has been tied to aluminum. The research is staggering.
So it affects your whole body.
It affects your whole body.
If you think about it, it affects your whole body.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know that's 3 different bodily systems that I know that it affected.
I knew it affected your gut.
Yeah.
Your gut was a huge part of your body that
Exactly.
it affected.
And this research went in also to drinking beverages from cans.
Yeah, I can see that.
Drinking beverages from cans.
What about your aluminum foil?
Aluminum foil was mentioned as one of the big factors of it, especially if you bake with aluminum foil.
Which makes sense because that aluminum foil reaches a certain temperature. Does it do the same as far as reaching a certain temperature like your cookware would and emit aluminum?
I don't know. That would be research to look a little closer into. But there's so many different things that we need to look at, and there's no way that we can completely eliminate our bodies from aluminum because of exposure in the air that we're breathing. But we can make a difference in our home, in our cleaning products, in the soaps that we use, in our skincare products, our hair care products, even down to our lips. And antacids, not taking the antacids. And that's a topic for another day of how do you supplement that? What can you use as a healthy choice? There are healthy choices out there that we can make.
Okay.
It's staggering and it's scary.
Yeah. You mentioned aluminum in the air. I had seen a study of meteorologists on the Weather Channel. It would show like a massive weather anomaly coming, just red and yellow clouds moving in, and they would tell the audience, don't worry about this. This is just a military exercise that's been blotted out. And the study showed that they were using aluminum dust to spread across the sky to hide whatever exercise they're doing. But that was the only way that they could block the Doppler radars and stuff from seeing what was going on. So they're just spreading it out in the air, and that ultimately comes down to the residential houses.
So whatever area that was highlighted on the map, that's scary. They were going to be affected to that, and didn't even know it. That's what's scary.
Yeah.
And if you even, like we were saying, they're hidden on your ingredients and they're hidden in other things. But if you just look, if you just even type it online, it's not hidden.
That's it.
It is. No. It's there. They tell you. That's what's scary.
And we know that Google is not necessarily a search engine that everything is to be so. But you can go to credible research from
Yeah.
the Mayo Clinic, from Harvard,
Right.
different places.
Credible.
And they're credible sources. Another staggering one that came from, I think, 2022 was aluminum and vaccinations.
Wow.
Aluminum is in vaccinations. If it's in your aspirin,
Right.
why would it not be?
Right.
In your vitamins, a poor quality of vitamins contains a lot of different ingredients, and aluminum is found in some of those. So it's not just in what we eat, it's what we take, what we breathe, what we drink, and how we cook and how we clean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we try to stay as organic as possible, even with our kids. Even when we do buy processed foods, we still try to stay as clean as
Read the
possible.
labels.
But even in some organic foods that we bought for our kids, thinking they were a healthier
Yes.
version, guess what was in it?
Mm-hmm.
Anti-caking agent.
Yes.
And I was so disappointed because I thought I was doing my kids justice by buying them this healthier option, when in fact it wasn't as healthy as what I thought it was.
Frozen pizzas was on one of the number one
Yeah.
foods, and cheese, American sliced cheese. Those were two of the food products that were loaded
Yeah.
with aluminum. And that's scary, because what kid doesn't like frozen pizza? And what do they serve in schools?
Well, and here's
Frozen pizza.
Here's the scary thing too. You think about where you live and the area. If it's a poverty area, groceries are expensive, no matter where you are. But what does most people having a hard time maybe watching their grocery budget? What do? They go for those frozen pizzas. They go for those
Cheaper options.
right, the cheaper options, ramen noodles, cheaper cereals, just because that's what they can afford. That's what's sad, is they make our groceries so expensive that you can't afford the healthy
Exactly.
option.
Exactly, unless you start making it at home.
Right, which is what we're trying to get to, making things from scratch.
Yes.
Knowing what's in your ingredients. Not even just your baking products, as far as like your baking powders, your baking sodas, but your spices,
And your salt.
your salt. Just
A very
table
common
salt.
thing, table salt. And something that I found interesting too was, what do you do? How do you help alleviate your body? How do you help to detox your body
How
from
do you get rid
possible
of?
aluminum that you may have ingested through your nasal passage, through your gut, and etc. Two things that I found that was really good is just lemon water will help detox your liver. And this is the easy one. Epsom salts, pure organic Epsom
No
salts.
scented Dr.
No
Teal's or
scented,
anything
no,
like
just
that.
plain Epsom salts. It does not have an anti-caking agent in it, but
Which
just
makes
to,
sense why it clumps up if
That's
it
exactly.
gets wet.
Yes. Take and soak your feet in it. Soak in a bathtub, preferably, but if you can't get into the bathtub or can't find that time, put it in the bottom of your shower. Start, put the plug for your tub and let it detox your feet. Something too that also is just staying hydrated with good quality water, flushing your body out.
Well, that's something that I've been trying to do with the boys. Even when they come home from school, if they would decide they want to take a bath, I put a few tablespoons of Epsom salts in their bath. They think it's cool. They can crush it up. We'll put some essential oils, and they're happy. That's just as good to them as a bath bomb.
Yes.
because it's something that dissolves in the water.
Yeah. It's also really good to do at bedtime. Put some lavender in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make them
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
So what we've learned is aluminum is almost everywhere, but it can be prevented in your home. It can be prevented in your diet.
Yeah.
And if you're careful, it can be prevented in your supplements if you read the labels
So
carefully.
the point is read your labels.
Read your labels.
Yeah.
Become a label reader.
Right. One thing we didn't touch on was cookware. What's some safe options for cookware?
You could go to stainless steel. You could do cast iron, which is my personal preference. Anything that's not coated in a non-stick.
Yes.
Right. Glass would be good.
Glass would be a great one. Just anything that doesn't have that non-stick label on it, because if it's advertising non-stick, then it's definitely got
Yeah.
Right.
an aluminum coating over it.
Right. And if you're not real sure how to cook with stainless steel or cast iron, it's a little tricky at first.
It is.
But that's where they kind of get you, those commercials. It's anti-stick, it just slides right out. You know, they show those commercials of things just sliding right out of the skillet
Yeah.
because that makes life easy. It seems like that's the thing that, you know, they want us to think. What, it's easier. We'll just buy this. It's easier. We'll just heat this up. It's easier. We already have this spice made. It's easier. You know, instead of us doing it ourselves.
Exactly. And check your spice labels. Anti-caking agents are in your spices. Even if they're marked organic, check them anyway. But since we have researched aluminum and reflecting back, I mentioned the other day when you buy organic onion salt or garlic salt, a lot of times it will cake up and get hard really quickly. And that's because there's no anti-caking agents in there. And we had just talked about earlier, many years ago, when you went to restaurants where they had salt and pepper shakes, in the salt shake on the table was a couple of grains of rice to prevent your salt from caking. So why not put a couple of grains of your rice in your spices to keep those?
I don't think it would hurt at all.
Yeah.
But even if they do cake up, I mean, just putting them in your food processor and give them a few
Give them a few
grinder or
spins.
something.
Yes.
and it'd be just as good.
Loosen right back up.
And you don't realize how, like, garlic powder, onion powder, how easy that is just to make at home.
Exactly.
I mean, it takes a little time. It's not as easy as just going and buying the one at the store. But you usually get more quantity, and it's a better quality.
Yes.
And we'll do some videos later of us making our own spices for you guys to take home with you and use those. I think we've learned a lot.
We have
so
learned a
too.
lot.
So pay attention to your labels, and if nothing else, ask somebody else. If you don't know, ask somebody else. And if they don't know, start doing some research. Read your labels. Know what's in your food. Know what's in your pantry, because it's scary to find out what's in your pantry when you don't realize what's in it.
That's it. If you can't pronounce it or you have no idea what it's saying, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Good thing to know not to get it.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in. This is Friday Table Talk. We'll see you guys next Friday.